Hey, the Chicago Bears. They just got more great news after trouncing the Rams, and we're still seeing negative stories everywhere still. Nothing was working leading up to the Rams game, right? We even saw lack of scoring in the first half. Players are seeming to underperform this season, undisciplined. I mean, look, there's still way too many pre-snap penalties. We've got to clean that up. But offensive coordinator Shane Waldron, he's got to get some props for this game. I know, I know Shane Waldron, click off. But if we're going to criticize him for the things that he's done wrong, the things that he mismanaged, we also got to prop him up when he does things really, really well. And this is great news. This adjustment that he made. He has a specific way he wants this offense to operate. It's not possible right now. So he made a really good adjustment. And let's hope it's a permanent adjustment. And I'm also going to talk a little about, give you a window into Caleb's development, a little window that nobody's talking about as well. But let's just start with Waldron. He was willing to adapt, and he did it pretty dramatically. He's now coaching players harder. He's demanding accountability. Guys, this sea change is just really encouraging, and it's great news for our Chicago Bears. He went 13 personnel, and he did it deep into the red zone. Roshan Johnson, touchdown behind backup center Kramer. He was acting as the fullback. Just so fun to see. Meat and potatoes, no more speed options. He moved up tempo, no huddle. I mean, there was that players meeting before the game. Kind of the same old punts on 3 consecutive possessions in the first half. And then we're kind of sitting there at 10-9 on the scoreboard. I think Waldron's going to work out, though. He showed that he isn't a Matt Nagy, excuse me. If you remember Nagy, right? He had a certain scheme he wanted to run, specific personnel, a refusal to deviate from it. Even when some tweaks were working, he would not move off of it. But Waldron made an adjustment at the half. He went to the no huddle. He went to a tempo-based offense, adapting to what Caleb's ready to do right now, not what we hope that he can do in the future, what Caleb's able to do right now. Touchdowns on consecutive drives, that was the result. The running game, it found some room. Even the body language of the team, the eye test, fully different. And here's the thing too, Caleb, he was as the commentator said during the game, if you remember, he took the profit consistently. I mean, checking down when needed, keeping the chains moving, kind of stealing those first downs. And let's get into this a little bit. I want to reference courtesy of NFL's next gen stats. Tempo passes under 15 yards in the air against LA, 15 for 15. Still growing into the pro game with only 2 of 7 on longer passes. But keep in mind about Caleb. There was that dime to DJ Moore that might be the best throw we've seen anybody do in the NFL this year, not to mention the dart to Cole Kmet as well. I mean, and this speaks to chunk yardage. That's a favorite phrase of Coach Flus, right? We need to get chunk yardage. That was one of the hits on Getsy, right? No chunk plays. It was also part of the narrative leading into this last game. And to hear it straight from Coach Flus, we saw improvement last week as we did, and we're going to keep improving and getting that continuity, working together in terms of the route distribution, timing, protection, all the things you need to be a successful offense, running the ball more efficiently, getting, yes, there's that phrase, chunk plays, so you score points, converting in the red zone. I mean, and if you look at it objectively, the Bears have been dead last in the NFL with only 12 big plays. That's minuscule. But guess what? With the progression of Caleb, those chunk plays, they happen with the adjusted gameplay. The 36-yard run by Swift for a score, the seam route to Kmet, right? That was beautiful. Next level, perfect. And honestly, that's a throw that Justin Fields, he doesn't have in his bag. I love Justin Fields. I support him. I hope he continues the ball out in Pittsburgh. But you guys talking about that we should have kept Fields, just crazy short-sighted. And I think we're starting to see results of what Caleb can be. So to back up a little bit, now the chunk plays are coming. And here's Caleb's progression just in passer rating. And I'm going to go to this Brandon Segru on Twitter. Yeah, I'm always going to call it Twitter. I am old school. I am not going to call it X. So let's look at this. The chunk plays are coming, and here's Caleb's progression. And we're talking just in passer rating. Week 1, 55.7. Week 2, 51. Terrible. Week 3, we got that encouragement against the Colts, 80.8. And now week 4, this looks like a nice functioning offense with the scheme adjustment, 106.6. What does this tell us? It tells us, guys, right? Be patient with this. Be patient with our offensive coordinator. Success is in the future. I'm telling you, this will come, and it's going to start to, and it's actually going to continue with Carolina this week. And here's something too. Look, when you're no longer playing up against up to 9 guys in the box, right? Playing with tempo, yes, even no huddle. Your offensive line looks a lot better, right? Your offensive line has some breathing room. Really encouraged on the improved play on that front as well. Can't wait for the messages on that, because I'm going to say even Nate Davis. Yes, Nate Davis. He had some nice blocks in limited action. He's not off the hook yet. Not sure if he ever will be, but he had a really nice second level block that helped break free DeAndre Swift on that touchdown. And this is actually here from Caleb. This is a quote from him. I think when you get a no huddle, it doesn't allow the defense to do what they want to do. I think the biggest thing of no huddle, whether it's personnel or a certain front like here today, we want to make sure we can exploit it. Front sometimes where they bring in 6 bigs, 5 big defensive linemen and things like that. We've experienced that, right? Hello, look at that Indy game. Getting back to it, being able to open the field up, go no huddle, get them all tired, and then spread the ball around. Then when they take them out, run the ball. I mean, that's a really succinct, just a really nice explanation of what this adjustment did from Waldron. Before, like against Indy, right? They were putting 8 or even 9 guys up in the box. The Bears continued to run against it. They tried to pass against the stacked front with slower developing patterns, multiple reads. It just wasn't working. I mean, even play action is not going to be successful against 8 and 9 man fronts. I think I heard a quote that I don't care if you have an offensive line that's stacked with Pro Bowl players. No one is going to hold up against that on top of a team blitzing 40% of the time like the Texans did. So we're looking at the switch up tempo to no huddle. I mean, it made it so the defense could no longer dictate the action, this up tempo, no huddle. I said it right that time. Slants and quick releases. That was a new norm. Surprise. Opening up the running game for Swift. Fully different offense. And Swift looked great. Waldron making the adjustment. Also absolutely huge, right? And if we're going to burn him at the stake once again for not having it figured out perfectly, we also got to prop him up when he gets it right. We can't have this situation that he gets all the blame or all the credit. Then we're going to run him out of town, change coaching staffs. I mean, my goodness, do you really want to have a rookie quarterback in town and change the scheme and everything year one? Sounds like what the Bears have done in the past, and that ruins quarterbacks. Let's stay the course here. And if you look at Waldron too, he isn't really going fully against what he's had success in with what he's had success with in Seattle. I mean, it's not a full departure of what he likes to do. He just had to adjust it because the Bears in their present state, they cannot execute it. So kind of looking back to the Seahawks, they were 4th in the league in plays without a huddle. And it was successful. 847 yards on 173 plays. That's a really good per play average. And that status from the guys over at Sports Mockery, they are fantastic. Give their site your eyes. And this shift was also gutsy. Caleb was only 14 for 29 from 139 yards and plus a pick. And that's from the first 3 games playing no huddle. So this shift, Waldron saw something. He made the gutsy move. He knew he had to make an adjustment at halftime. It wasn't working. And the shift is on as William grows, right? Keep looking at this season in sections. The next 3 to 5 games, keep with tempo. Minimize turnovers. As Coach Flu says, respect the ball. Play balanced ball. Stack completions. Take the profit. Then the occasional downfield stretch play, it's going to be there. And I think we're in a really good spot. The Bears have Carolina next at home. And the Bears, I don't know if you knew this, but the Bears own the longest home winning streak stretching back to last year in the whole NFL. there is so much to be optimistic about. And if you were to tell me at the beginning of the season that we're going to have all these problems, we are going to have a players meeting with our offensive coordinator. We're going to have a stalled run game. We're going to have a floundering offensive line. If you were to tell me coming out of that we would be 2-2, I'd say game on. That's fantastic. So let's continue to look at it that way. Look forward to being possibly 3-2 with Carolina. And then we have a soft matchup with New England. We've got Arizona coming into town. Seattle's going to be tough, but there's a lot of winnable games. Plus, you have Jacksonville pushed into there. We could very easily be sitting at 4-2 before we even turn our heads, and that is a really good place to be. You guys, let me know what you think. As always, I'll interact with you in the comments. Bear down, and I will talk to you soon. See ya.